And some change. Tomorrow night, the 76ers are in town. Nuggets come in on Friday, Detroit on Saturday. The Cavs have lost to the Pistons the last 2 or 3 times they've played them. And then LeBron James and the Lakers, who they're having a hard time.
Really hard time.
Hard time. Monday night, he threw a ball in a dude's face last night when the guy was on the ground. Who are they playing, the Raptors? Or
Yeah, I think the Raptors was last night, and then the night before they got destroyed by the Suns. I think the Suns scored like 140 on them, and that wasn't an overtime. That was just what they were able to put up.
Yeah, Lakers are in bad shape. They're 9th in the West. So they're on the wrong side of 500.
Yeah. They might be able to... I mean, they're in danger of falling out of the play-in tournament because now the NBA does... The 9th and 10th seeds get to play the 7th and 8th seeds to play, to try and make the playoffs.
Right. But the Suns are also monsters, too. So,
but they didn't have... They had some injury that night, but still, it doesn't... 140 points.
Right.
Destroyed them.
140 points?
140.
I thought I misheard you. 140 points.
Yeah, that's what I guessed the combined score of the national championship is going to be.
Oh, I thought you meant. I thought you were trying to say they beat them by 140
No,
points.
no,
I'm like,
no,
that can't be true.
Scored 140,
right,
but they
140
beat
to
them.
111. That's still a huge blowout.
Right.
Was it
Yeah,
140 to 1? 141 to 1?
Right. 145 to 4. The Suns.
Did you guys sign up for the tournament?
The bracket?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, I gotta download an app.
Oh, you guys are not fun.
When does it due?
By Thursday.
Maybe I'll
I thought
think
about it, but I don't.
It was fun last year.
Because you did well. Me and Alan and Cody don't
No,
know anything.
but that's the thing is I was doing well and I didn't
I thought
do
you
well.
did really well last year.
I was in 3rd for a little while, but then I
Because you just
tanked.
randomly threw a
that's the
dart.
fun,
and-
yeah.
I pick whichever, either the team name that strikes me the funniest or...
The funniest. Some
Depending.
hilarious team
Gonzaga.
names out there. Oh, boy.
Hokies. Hokies.
Yeah. Or I'll pick which mascot I think will win in a fight,
Yeah.
or what colors I like best.
That's what
a fun way
happens
to
when,
go.
Marge in Accounts Payable does it, and she ends up winning the whole friggin' thing, so.
What school sounds closest to my name?
Okay.
Yes.
The Hoyas?
Close. Very close to Mary.
Or Santora, I was
okay.
thinking. Marymount. Loyola Marymount.
Done.
Mary State. Mary State.
Oh,
there you
yeah.
go.
State. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I will. I don't know. I haven't done a. I don't even know everybody who's in it at this point. So.
And they make it so easy. You can even just, there's a little wrench. You can click that and do random, and just it will autofill your bracket for you.
I don't want to do that.
Oh,
I
really?
put so much time and effort into this that I haven't had the time to commit to filling out a bracket yet. It's science.
I
Bill.
guess I'll
And
need
they
to
can-
look over it.
And they can do it just completely random. They'll do user favorites based on teams that you like, which I imagine you guys don't have the history of the app to really go about it that way. Top seeds, all the top seeds will just advance.
Quinoa, chia, flax.
Fennel.
Wow, you're not going with sunflower. I'm shocked.
It's a bracket
and then-
buster.
Historical random. And
Chia.
that'll use historical versions of what has happened to inform your picks.
I just wish somebody would just give me a song where it distills all of them into
Bobcats, Badgers, Boilermakers, Bruins, and Blazers, Blue Devils,
Let me
Crimson
get a pen,
Tides,
hold on.
Red Raiders, Catamounts, Cougars, Wolverines, and Panthers, Aztecs, Trojans, Tar Heels, Pirates, and
slow
Rebels,
down.
Dons, Fires, Gales, Titans, Islanders, Razorbacks,
Are there any
Razors,
tigers
Rams,
in there?
Lancers,
Guys?
Tigers,
Oh, there's a lot of
Sun Bears,
tigers in there.
with the
Okay.
Spartans twice. We're only halfway there.
Oh, I haven't gotten any of these
Hurricanes,
down yet.
Huskies,
Hold
Hokies,
on.
Hawkeyes, Hoosiers, and Horned Frogs, 4 Wildcats, 2 Raiders, and 3 Bulldogs, fighting
Wildcats.
Illini, fighting Irish,
Wizards,
Cyclones,
Wildcats are my alma mater.
Cowboys, and
Okay,
Broncos,
hold on.
Golden Eagles, Gamecocks, Seacocks, Mocs, Blue Jays, Blue Hens, and Jayhawks.
I got
Buckets,
Bobcats.
Spiders, Volunteers, we're all finished.
I got
Write 'em down,
Cougars.
fill out the brackets. It's March Madness.
I thought that was going to help, and that really didn't help me at all.
Yeah, do it. You might have to listen to it a few times and then it will.
Tigers.
A lot of tigers.
A lot of tigers. And the Spartans, I'll have 2 children who are at Michigan State next year. So I have to be a Spartan fan. I got to root for the Spartans. I got to root for where my money goes. Okay. Yeah, maybe I will. Those are fun if I don't put any work into them. If I have to put work into them,
Well,
I'll
you gotta download an app.
Well, that's not a big deal.
Is it?
To download an app? We're downloading apps every single day. No. And then they live on my phone for a couple of days, and then I get rid of them. So that one, I'll like Bill said, you spin a wheel, right? And then you can just it'll autofill. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Autofill?
It will autofill. You can get autofill to do it for you. He's a car guy. His name's Phil.
Autofill. Is it? Hey, everybody, it's autofill.
Is that from Canada?
Yeah, why don't you get in here and spin the wheel, and then we'll autofill. Right. Yeah, Gonzaga is going to win it all. I'm going to go with that.
I went with Baylor.
You went with Baylor to win it all?
Baylor, I hardly know her.
Grr!
Sometimes
they're still murdering people down there. What about the? My alma mater would be the Northwestern Wildcats. The Fighting Illini, that would be a home state school. A lot of friends who are University of Illinois alums. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. If Poundcake does it, I'll do it.
No.
I guess I'm not doing it.
I think you should do it, Poundcake.
Don't want to.
If Poundcake jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge?
No, we'd throw a party.
No, I'd be tied to him. What you talking about?
How about your boy Jussie?
What'd he do?
He didn't do it.
Well, his family's worried that his life is in danger. I played you that clip when he was sentenced. He goes, "I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. If something happens to me, it's not." And I was kind of giving him a hard time, I was breaking his balls because I was like, "Oh, he's trying to make it sound like there's, people out to get him, blah blah blah." The Jeffrey Epstein thing. But I did get a letter from somebody who put it into a better perspective for me. I can't find that letter right now, but she wrote me and she goes, the Jussie Smollett thing, him saying that, she's like, I took that to mean he was worried about cops in there killing him.
Bro, I am telling you, this is a cover up. The media, when Jussie said that the media is penalizing him for being black and gay.
Stop it with the media.
Listen.
I love everybody loves using the media as their whipping boy.
It's news outlets that were reporting on this, and I'm just trying to tell you, I think they misquoted him or they misunderstood what he was saying. I don't think he thinks that the media is homophobic. I don't think they're homophobic. They're not afraid of gay people. What I would say that news media, they are misunderstanding how gay people operate, and they should do better because if they
he doesn't. There are plenty of gay people who want nothing to do with Jussie Smollett because they think, probably rightly so, that him making all this up sets back their legitimate cause.
But this is because it's homophobia. They should know.
What's homophobia?
I'm going to explain it to you.
This guy made this up.
No.
He got in trouble.
No.
Everybody these days, when they get caught, they blame somebody else because there's no, accountability is, forget that.
What would you do if you were being framed for something and it's
predicated on your belief that he's being framed. So if
I'm telling you,
if that's your starting position, I would reject that on principle.
What I think that the hate crime that he said happened was staged. I think it is fake. It's a cover-up for something else. I think the interview he did with Robin Roberts, yes, he was lying in that, but I think he was lying to either cover his ass or somebody else's ass.
You think that he's being extorted for something.
I think he's being extorted.
Some C-level celebrity
Real quick,
was
though.
being extorted, and he's using all this to cover it up.
Quick question. What do you think Robin Roberts' middle name is? I think it's Roberta.
Robin Roberta Roberts. Yeah, possibly. I like her. Yeah, but again,
I think that the media should know. The news outlets should know that gay men speak in innuendo. There's not going to be a lot of evidence.
What does that have to do with him making up a hate crime?
I think those guys set him up. They have something on him. The two Nigerian guys, they threatened to kick his ass.
He paid them to do it.
Alan.
He paid them.
Listen to me. I'm trying to explain to you the concept of a black gay man and me. You are a target. These men, if they're Nigerian, I have a friend from Nigeria, a gay friend from Nigeria, and he loves it over here. He loves it over here because back home there are gay clubs, but they are underground and very, very discreet. If those guys are hanging out with Jussie, he is an out and proud gay celebrity. If they are seen with him, it could implicate some things for them back home. if they are good extorters, if they are...
What would they be extorting him for?
I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay. Because so far you haven't.
Because
you've thrown a lot of things in that don't make sense to me.
I'm trying to explain it to you.
But you're doing a poor job of it. I'm saying cut to the chase. What are they extorting Jussie Smollett allegedly for?
I don't know what they have on him. They have something. He said he had a sexual relationship with one of them.
But I would think that if you were going this hard to the hoop on this theory, that you would have something where you go A, B, and C.
Well, no. I think that whatever...
It seems much simpler to me.
It is simpler
by
to
his
think
own
that.
by his own admission that he said he was getting hate mail and the network wasn't taking him seriously.
Yeah.
So he staged something to get national attention. He thought, because he was black and gay, that everybody would be on his side. All the culture warriors would come to his side, which they did, by the way. From the beginning of that case, if you had the temerity to publicly say, I think something's fishy here, you were immediately branded a homophobe and a racist. And
sounds like
it's like Chappelle said, black people were quiet because they knew this dude was lying.
I think all those things lead up to someone who is trying to cover all their bases, cover their tracks. I think whatever they have on him, coming out would be way worse.
But what do you think they have on him?
I don't know. Maybe they recorded a sex tape with him.
But
maybe
sex tape will not even get you in trouble anymore. If he's out and gay, you can't extort somebody by going, "We've got you having sex with men on tape."
But if they're Nigerian and like I said, their life could be threatened.
But didn't he fly them over here?
That's what I'm thinking.
He flew them
over
over
here.
here.
Part of some type of ring.
Here's why he flew guys over here, because that way he could fly them in, beat them up, fly back. Okay. Weren't these guys already on his payroll? Like, he knew these dudes.
Yeah, they were training him or something.
I don't see the upside of him lying about this.
Why wouldn't, if you're being extorted, you know what happens a lot when celebrities are being extorted? They go to the police.
The upside
they say, if it's embarrassing, that's the whole point of being extorted.
The upside is getting away with it.
Yes, but
if you don't get away with it, that's when it becomes this big embarrassing situation that he's in now.
But there's no way that if you're a good extorter, no one's just going to sit on. But I'm saying, if
you are a good professional extorter,
let's rank the extorters.
If you have a master's in extortion,
who is going to sit by the wayside and just say, "Oh, Jussie's now making $100,000 per episode. I have dirt on this guy. I'm just going to let him get away with paying me $3,000 to beat him up"? No. There's never enough money for someone who knows they can get more. So these guys weren't just going to go away. He would have to pay these guys off for life. It's not a good business model. It doesn't make sense to me. I think he's covering up for whatever. I think he's covering up for something else. I don't know what it is.
What do you think there's zero evidence pointing to this.
But there's a lot of things that happen that have zero evidence.
But if you're going to trial in something, which is what they just did, there's discovery, there are investigators on the case. They had to dig up these Nigerian guys because it's not like they came forward. They put those guys in a corner. They boxed them in, and then they copped to it. Because otherwise, they would have gotten away from it, or away with it, rather.
Okay.
By the way, I'll play a little clip here because his family is just convinced something awful is going to happen to him in jail.
I do too.
Because they're getting all kinds of hateful messages and blah, blah, blah.
I hope what they do to that guy in jail, here's what they're going to do, right? They take a broom handle, shove it in there, and he's going to go, oh.
I mean, that's gross, and that could be fake, too.
Who's
Who
it
knows?
from?
I don't know. The family says they're getting hateful voicemails from people. Maybe they are. How people are randomly finding the Jussie Smollet family's phone numbers, that's probably not that hard to do.
I'll say you can find anything.
You can find anything. But the point is, if he thought legitimately he was going to be murdered in prison, he's got to do 6 months in Cook County Jail. You said he's going to be put in isolation or whatever.
He's in it right now.
Right.
He's in the psych ward.
Wouldn't you tell the cops, look, I don't want to get killed. Here's everything that's going on. If my life is on the line, I'm being extorted for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, well.
Why doesn't he do that?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to you that a black gay celebrity who doesn't think he's getting enough attention would fake a hate crime.
Yes.
That makes sense to a lot of people.
Because Hollywood, especially when you're...
Not Hollywood. Jussie Smollett.
But I'm just saying, when you're at that level, you are not just an actor for you. You represent a community, and I just can't see him purposely, maliciously.
I'm sure there are plenty of black
hurting that community. Because
all kinds
it
of
is gonna
people
set
hurt
us
their
back.
own communities. All kinds of people hurt their own communities.
And there's also a selfishness that goes into it, that he wanted to be a higher profile person.
I don't know.
He didn't think he was getting his due on Empire. I'd never heard of the guy before Empire.
Yeah, he was on Mighty Ducks. That's the only thing I know him from.
But when he was
That
a
was when
kid,
he was a kid,
he was in the
yeah.
OG Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
I don't know him from under the net. I think he's cute, but I don't see the upside.
Because his brother says that Jussie Smollett is being put in the psych ward.
Yeah, he is.
I think they're layering all these things on top of other things to make it seem like, hey man, he can't be in there because he's not, to quote Poundcake, of sound and mind.
He's going to come out and have one hell of a docuseries.
And that's what he wants.
Okay, well, he'll be able to write a book. He'll be able to do something. He's never going to be able to work in the same capacity again. The gay
have a
community don't
question.
want to deal with him, and no actors want to work with him. Go ahead.
What is there something that you could give any example of that you think they might be extorting him for?
Well, I happen to know people, gay guys that have been with straight guys, and then those guys are like, if you ever say anything, I'm going to ruin your life. Like, I'm going to say you raped me. I'm going to say, like, if you're a celebrity, men can also use their sexual leverage against you, just like any other person. Just like they say women try to trap them. Straight men, coming from someone who has been with dabblers, if there's money involved and he's a high profile person, there's already a bad image of gay men, being promiscuous or whatever. People could believe that Jussie was making, moves towards these straight guys, unwanted advances, and then he gets Me Too'd. That's what I think is something.
Okay, because I was going to say, from what you were saying about them being Nigerian, like it's heavily frowned upon in Nigeria. So these two Nigerian guys, their people back home found out, hey, you're doing gay stuff. So now they're going to come back at Jussie and be like...
Not necessarily Jussie, but harm them. So they probably were like, we need some money. Or they probably were messing
Why
with...
wouldn't they just stay in the United States?
Because
They're not citizens here.
Yeah, they're not citizens
They can't
here.
just stay here.
You think everybody here, that's one of the biggest problems a lot of people in this country have, is that people living here
Yeah,
aren't
but they're
citizens.
they're not people whose faces are everywhere and they're on trial. Those guys can't just go underground
I
now.
couldn't pick those guys out of a lineup. I mean, they were material witnesses in this case, but I wouldn't know them to look at them.
But what I'm saying is the people that follow these guys on Instagram or whatever, they know they're overseas, with a high-profile gay celebrity. If their friends see them, what would their friends think? But
So why would they put themselves in that position in the first
I
place?
think they tried to rob him or something. Like, they probably put him in a compromising position. I don't know.
Was he in Nigeria?
No, those guys were living with him.
So they came over. Why did they come over here? How did they know him?
Because they were...
they were training him, right? For something?
I think they might be escorts or something. I think they might be on the DL.
Is it possible?
What I'm saying is, I fully understand the inclination for those two dudes to try to protect themselves. But you're talking about Jussie Smollett, who is an out and gay celebrity.
Here's what it is. He's trying to cover up the fact those guys said, we're Nigerian princes. Give us your bank account information and we'll wire you $1 million.
So he got played.
And he did it. And now he's trying to cover it up as a hate crime because he didn't want to look stupid for thinking that a prince wanted to marry him.
Here's his brother talking about...
So Jussie is currently in a psych ward at Cook County Jail. What's very concerning is that there was a note attached to his paperwork today and put on the front of his jail cell saying that he's at risk of self-harm. I want to just make it clear to folks that he is in no way, shape, or form at risk of self-harm.
His brother sounds kind of
and
gay,
he
too.
wants to let folks
What's that?
His brother sounds kind of gay, too.
know that he is very stable, he is very strong, he is very healthy and ready to take on the challenge that ultimately has been put up against him. This is not right. This is completely lack of justice. It's angering. It's an outrage. But he ultimately knows what he needs to do. So we want to make sure that folks understand that, whatever inside Cook County Jail what assumptions they may be making. I don't know why they even have him in a psych ward.
Listen, why they're not calling this a miscarriage of justice, I don't know. Maybe that'll...
you answered your own question.
But Alan,
maybe that'll start trending.
You really think...
Octothorpe miscarriage of justice.
You really think we know the whole story?
No, but I think the case as it was presented is exponentially more believable than two Nigerian dudes are extorting him and he's keeping his mouth shut for no discernible reason whatsoever.
But what would be the reason to throw your whole life away if there wasn't something
Who's throwing
bigger?
their life away?
Jussie. Jussie is literally sabotaging his own career.
Because he got in his own head. He thought...
So his family's going to have his back. His friends are going to all have his back. NAACP leaders are going to have his back.
That's what happened. That's why so many people have egg on their face. Because everybody... Kim Fox, the Cook County attorney, she got in trouble because, remember, she dropped the case.
I understand.
And they go, no. There's an investigation here. He didn't foresee... This is where he got away from him. For whatever reason, he didn't foresee an investigation. He thought he'd be taken at his word, and it wouldn't amount to any more than a couple of press conferences getting a lot of attention about, oh my gosh, look what awful thing happened to this young, successful... That's as far as he thought. He didn't think there would be an investigation. That's why those guys hightailed it back to Nigeria. Go back home. We're going to be good. He didn't foresee any of that because the case had been dropped. And Kim Fox got into a lot of trouble for that. And so when they reopened it, he was like, oh, I didn't think any of this was going to happen. So then you got to double down on it. You got to go, this is what happened. Okay. These two dudes threw bleach on me at 2:30 in the morning wearing MAGA hats.
But what would be...
He was checking all the boxes of people getting outraged, and he didn't think that there would be an investigation further than... To your point exactly, by the way, you want to throw the media under the bus. He figured the media would just...
not care.
Right, like the news cycle would just move on, and he'd be front and center for a couple of days. Oh my gosh, look what happened to this poor young man. He didn't foresee an investigation into it.
Couldn't he have just like dyed his hair or something, or gotten a nose job, or like done something? You know what I mean? If he wanted to be in the news for a few days,
get a nose job.
This is so extreme.
That's what I'm saying. It don't make sense.
And that's kind of why I get what Cody's saying.
People do things all the time that don't make sense.
But if he just wanted attention, there's 1,000 ways to get attention.
He could have leaked a deep pic or something.
He wanted attention.
No.
For being black and being gay and being treated poorly on a television show. That's what he wanted.
So you're saying a nose job wouldn't have been enough attention. But I'm saying, like, there's other ways, like Cody's saying, leak your own nudes or something like that.
There were a billion other things he could have done.
This is just such an extreme way to do that.
But is it?
Yes.
Put yourself in the mindset of where the country is. Story that if any one of us was going to write a story that we wanted to resonate.
They hit every trigger where I know.
MAGA hats, nooses, bleach. 2:30 in the morning.
Subway.
In Chicago in January. I mean, that's where it started to kind of be like, what is going on here?
Okay.
Here is his Achilles heel. He put too many details in it.
Well, no, my question is...
Too many details.
If you're going to do something of that level, would you be that short-sighted?
Mm-hmm.
Really? If you're about to make up something that's got this much repercussions...
He thought it was brilliant. And like Alan said, he didn't think it was going to be investigated. He thought people were going to hear his story and then he would just be in the news.
Because
it'd give him a higher profile.
Don't forget what round one of this was. There were people that said that he wrote his own hate mail. And so then it became...
It was little pieces of magazine letters.
Right.
It was like the old... But that's what I'm saying. I think he faked the whole thing. I do think it was fake, but I think it was faked because he had to cover his tracks.
You're saying the motivation is different.
Yes. I think he's covering his ass.
Well, anyway, I don't know why I'm so fascinated by it, but I am fascinated by it. And by the way, I hope, contrary to that voicemail, I hope that he does not get a broomstick in an uncomfortable place.
Like the back of a Volkswagen? Nailed it that time.
And I got a break. You want to text 35192? I'll have those Dragon Force tickets for you. They're going to do the Agora next month when we come back.